Hello and welcome to this video of preparing working drawings for Assessment 1. This is for EIT's BSc 104 unit. I'm your lecturer Dharmit Thakur and I'll just guide you through how to come up with the set of working drawings with all of the detailed drawings for this part. Now this is a screwdriver, as everyone can see. We have to create multi-view projection for this part or this assembly. We won't go in detail of how to create the assembly. We'll just create the part and drawings out of it. We are going to use Autodesk Inventor for this task. So let's go into Autodesk Inventor, create a new part. Now the default I have is to create it in millimeters, but the part that we are designing is in inches. So how do we change that? Go to Tools, Document Settings, Units, and instead of millimeters as length, enter inch. Click on OK, and now whatever you enter would be in inches. Let's quickly have a look at what we are designing as well. So here we have to create a handle or the driver. Drivers up here, handles here. So the handle is, this width is 1 inch. The inside of the lobe is 0.89, and then the lobes are having a radius of 0.23. So let's start creating this part, and the overall length of this part is 4 inches. So I'll start creating it. Go to Model and then go to Revolve. Then we'll start the revolve process. I will create the center line first, and then I can go in and just select a 4-inch part. Now the thing is, all of these lines, they are center lines, which I don't want, so I'll select all 3 of them and then make them normal lines. The other thing is, here the the diameter here is 1 inch, so I'll add that, and then I'll join these 2 endpoints so that we get the complete revolution. Now the other thing is, on this there is this indentation, so the inside diameter is 0.5 inches and the radius of this curvature is 0.4, and it is 0.25 from the edge here. So let's start creating that. So we just have to create a circle. So I'm just creating an arbitrary circle here. I'll give it a dimension of 0.4 multiplied by 2, and then let's create an imaginary line. So I'll click on imaginary here, and then the length of this line is 0.25. I'll say again, the length of this line is 0.25 inches. I'll say OK, and then this point, so this point and this has to be vertically in line, so I'll add that constraint, and also I'll make sure that this point is on this circle here. Now the other thing is, once when you've done that, we'll have to trim this bit here, so I'll click on trim, and that is done. Then we'll have to dimension the part from here to here, which was 0.25. Next, we'll also trim out this part. Now this entire length was 4 inches and this is 0.2, but again, as you can see, things are changing. They are not lying as we had put them. So let's go in and change the dimensions again. So I'll just say from here to here it was 1 inch, and for this one it's the same as this 1 inch. So now we can see this whole part is fully constrained. The other thing to remember here is that there is a radius of 0.25 here, so we'll just add that one in. We'll add that using the fillet command, and 0.25 is the radius. We'll add that in, and instead of this being construction geometry, it's the solid geometry. So I'll click on finish, and then we can go in revolve, and as there was only one part, this whole part revolved. The next thing we have to do is we have to create this hole. Now this smaller ID of that is 0.248, and so that's the tolerance, and the bigger one is 0.249, so we'll just add 0.249 hole in there. So I'll just go into holes and I'll add 0.249, and it needs to go in by 2 inches. I'll click here and then select this edge so that the hole becomes concentric. I'll click on excuse me, I'll click on OK, and that hole has been created. The next we'll have to create is an extrusion. So we'll have to create that extrusion so that we can get that ripple effect here. So how do you create that extrusion? Well, select this, click on create a sketch, and then the inside, so I'll click on construction line. So the inside diameter is 0.89, outside this diameter is 1 inch. The difference here is 0.11. So I'll create another circle which is 1.11. So you can create your lobes in between these 2 points. So I'll go to right click, OK, undo the construction geometry, and then I'll create a circle which is in line with this one, and the radius of this is 0.23. So 0.23 multiplied by 2, and this one has to be, so these two needs to be tangents to each other, and then this would be repeated 6 times around. So we'll create a circular pattern with this as the axis. I'll click on OK, and we get all of those circular patterns here. Now what we'll do is we'll trim this bit with reference to all of this. So I click on finish, and then I'll click on extrude. I'll select the profiles 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6, and we'll say we want to extrude cut it, and we want to cut it through all. Then I'll click on OK, and we can see that the handle looks like the handle for the screwdriver. The other thing is, it is also said that all unspecified rounds are 0.02. So what we can do is we can click on fillet with 0.02 as the radius, and then we'll just go in and select all of them, and make that as 0.02 fillets. and I'm just checking that we have got all of the edges that needs filleting. And then I'll click on OK. So this is how your handle would look like. I'll save this as a handle. Topic 6, let's call it handle. And then next we are going to create the driver bit. So I'll click on standard again. I'll go to first of all tools, document settings, and I'll change it to again inches. I'll say OK. And then for this one, you can see that the diameter here of this, the bigger diameter here is 0.249 to 0.25. So we'll just select the 0.25, the bigger diameter, just in case. And then as you can see here, from this edge, so the length is 5 inches, but from this edge up to 0.56, the diameter slowly tapers up to 0.37 of an inch. And then after that, it goes back down in the length of 0.75 inches. So first of all, let's create this taper. So we'll again use the revolve command for this one. So go to 3D model, revolve, and we'll use the XY plane here. Use the line tool, use this for the center line, select the center line, OK. And then I'll again use the line tool, but I'll untick the center line button. And then I'm just creating a rough profile here. And then what I'll do is I'll make these 2 points common to each other. And then let's start dimensioning this. So this diameter is 0.25. The overall length is 5 inches. Now this bit from here to here, that was 0.56. And this bit was 0.75. One more dimension is required. That is, how much is this diameter? So we'll add that as well. This diameter here is 0.37. So now as you can see, everything has been selected. So we can just revolve this part. I'll click on OK. Now, as all the unspecified rounds were 0.02, I'll just fillet this end here with 0.02. Again, it's very small, but I'll just fillet it to make it a bit rounder. Now, the next what we need to do is we have to click on origin, and then we'll click on the XZ plane. We will create an extrude on this one. And that extrude, I'll click on this, which is the slice graphic. So it will slice the entire solid from where we are creating the sketch. And in here, we will have to create 2 segments to cut the geometry such that we can create that profile of what we want. Now this one, the dimension for this one is 0.047 divided by 2, and this dimension is 0.56 plus 0.75, and this will just give it any dimension, let's say 0.175. So now it is fully constrained. What we'll next do is we'll create a line, we'll create a center line here, and then we will mirror this entity that we just created, and the mirror line would be here. Click on apply and you get the mirror out. So finish, And then you can extrude these two profiles, and you need to cut them both sides, full cut. When you do that, you can see your driver bit taking shape. Next, here we'll have to create a hole. The size of the hole is 0.15 and it goes for 1 inch. I'll click on OK. Next, from the top view, there is a hole here. Now that hole here, by mistake it says that the distance of the center line of that hole from here is 1.379, but in reality it is 0.379, because if the depth of this hole, if that is 1 inch and this hole looks roughly in the center, the distance here cannot be 1.379, it has to be 0.379. So we'll use that. So we'll create on the XZ plane, we'll create a extrude. In that sketch, again, I'll do this profile. Here we'll create a circle. The diameter of the circle is 0.093, and the distance here between this and the center line was 0.379 inches. I'll click on finish, and then that's one profile. We need to cut both sides and through the full section. Now this driver bit is also ready, so I'll save this as well. Now we'll have to create some drawings, so I'll start creating the drawing. So right click on handle.ipt and create drawing view. Here I can select any ISO or NC. I'll just click on ISO, and then I'll say from the front view, the second view that we want is over here, and for these two views we also want an isometric view. We'll change the orientation of this view. I'll change the place. The orientation of this view, will change it like this, and we'll make it look like this. Now here the other dimensions are not showing up, so what we can do is we can just say we want to see just this view or the outside, or we can say we would like to see all of the views. But we'll also create a section view of this, looking like this. So that way we can see this, we can see that hole on the inside. We'll quickly click on some annotations. We'll create a center line there. We'll also create a center line here. Plus, we'll also create a center mark here. And then you need to go in and dimension each and every part as has been taught in the previous tutorials and previous lectures. Next, for the driver bit, we'll do the same thing. Driver, create drawing view, ISO, and then here I'll just select the front view. I'll have this view, and also this view. I'll also show an isometric view Now this view, you can change it. Now you need to dimension lots of, so first of all, let's just create some center lines. And then after you do that, start dimensioning all of it. And this concludes creation of, or prepare a complete set of working drawings with all of the detailed drawings for the part shown. We have used the multi-view projection for the layout. That's the end of this recording.